I'm Vienna and I'm here with Mark, who is with MCAP. Today we'll talk about how to prepare yourself if you are looking to purchase a house a year, 2 years down the line as a first-time buyer. So a lot of people come up to me and ask me, hey Vienna, I'm a first-time buyer. I need to know what do I need to do today to prepare myself. So the first thing I tell them is start saving early, because there are a lot of expenses that come with that. Down payment, other expenses, and also closing costs. And Mark, would you like to add anything to that?
Yeah, so first I'd like to reel it back in, just in case they're more ready to buy in the immediate future.
Yeah.
One of the things that we could probably suggest is that a pre-qual is good for about 120 days. That's based off of the credit report. This is government, Fannie Mae rules, so 4 months. So if you're ready to buy within that 4 months, I would encourage people to do an application immediately. A mortgage application is going to be the most accurate and most detailed credit report that we can pull to see what needs to be done, if anything. If you're beyond the 4-month period, like a year or 2 years, as Vienna mentioned, the first thing I would do is probably make sure that your credit is in relatively good health with the free applications that you can get on your phone, the bank applications and stuff like that. They read about 20 points higher than mortgage scores. So if you're, 760, 750, 740, maybe even 700, you're pretty much good to go. If you are starting to see scores that are around 620 or under, then it might be good to check with a credit repair agency just for them to do a soft pull, which does not take away any points, just to see if there's anything that can be done. There might be overutilized debts. There could be late payments that person is not aware of. Get those things fixed first and foremost. And then the second thing, especially as we are heading into a very competitive buying season, is to basically continue to save money as much as possible. We do have programs that kind of alleviate those issues, such as Texas down payment assistance and 100% financing. But in general, it's good to just basically make sure that your credit is in good order and that you do have what we call reserves or assets, which is basically money in the bank.
So the soft pull credit, do they have to go with the credit repair or something you guys have?
No, they don't. So the only reason that I suggest that is because depending on what your credit scores are, if a mortgage lender pulls it, it may lower the score some more. There's a certain algorithm that in my experience, when somebody has heavily damaged credit, if you were to do another mortgage pull, the algorithm looks at it like, you've missed car payments or whatever. Why are you doing this? It's a very serious, pull if a person has low scores, like around 600 or less. That is why we suggest going to a credit repair, and they do a soft pull, which does not affect your credit score.
But can you pull the soft pull? Or
Yes, I believe, we do have, we can do the soft pulls as well. Okay. But we're more familiar with doing what we call, I don't like to call them hard pulls per se, I like to call them mortgage pulls. But in my experience, even if somebody has a truly genuine mortgage score of around a 620, a 630, you are typically given a grace period or a free pull where your score is not knocked. It's where your scores are really bad, is where that first time it may hurt. And that's when I'm more cautious and defer to the credit repair folks.
Okay, so I mentioned earlier about down payments and I mentioned about closing costs. Can you give our viewers, our customers, what's the number we're looking at, what percentage? So
3.5% if you're doing FHA, 5% typically if you're doing conventional. That's just for the down payment. In the state of Texas, for most counties, for most homes, closing costs in general, which are mostly title fees that are outside of the lender's control, is usually around $6,000. So if you're FHA, or if you believe that you're going to be FHA, take 3.5% of the purchase price, and then whatever that amount is, add $6,000, and that's going to be pretty accurate. Obviously, there may be, Vienna could ask for seller concessions, which can help reduce that. But in general, you want to kind of go off the worst case scenario, the highest number. And if you're already applicable towards that and can handle that, then you're in really good shape. So essentially 3.5% plus roughly $6,000. And then if you're doing conventional, usually 5%, plus again, that's $6,000. And that's kind of the all-encompassing number.
So there's a government agency that does giving the consumer free credit reports. So they go to that first, trying to figure out.
It doesn't hurt. Any tool that you have to kind of, the way that I look at it is, you know, it's kind of like a client is walking into a dark room at night. Mm-hmm. There's no windows, you know, there's no light. All that we are trying to do is just turn on a light and see what's on the floor, make sure we're not going to step on anything crazy. Yeah. If there's things that need to be rearranged and fixed, that's all that we're doing. It's not a commitment. You're basically just doing reconnaissance and just learning what needs to be done. A lot of people, in my experience, they don't really need to do anything. They're fearing over this, that, and the other. Right. We run their credit. It's actually quite good. Right. You know, they're worried about their student loans. There's a certain formula that we can use to help reduce all that. Yes. But again, if there's issues or if there's obstacles, this is the first step in overcoming them. Yeah.
Would you like to add anything else when we talk about, or?
Yeah, I mean, basically down payment assistance, I kind of specialize in that. I'm licensed with 3 of them with the state of Texas. They're all sanctioned by the state of Texas. And also AMCAP is one of the very few direct mortgage lenders that has access to the 100% financing, which is part of the Community Reinvestment Act, the CRA. Always contact and just see if you're applicable for any of those, and I can help with that.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mark. And I just want to add something. Just my job and Mark's jobs here is to give you all the information that you need. At the end of the day, it's your decision to make. We just, like he said, we just turn on the light and you figure out what path you're gonna go.
Exactly.
So I just want to say thank you very much for tuning in today, and thank you, Mark.
All right, thank you. Thanks.